Hey y'all, I've always believed that the shows that we binge and the movies we love are more than just entertainment. They're a window into who we are and who we might become. They're a place to talk about what truly matters. Welcome to Culture First, Democracy Always. I'm Tasha Pierce. Think of me as your favorite auntie who could talk about the latest sci-fi flick 1 minute and then get to talking about voter suppression the next. On this podcast, we break down pop culture from the movies and TV shows you love to the books you can't put down to talk about power, talk about freedom, and talk about survival. We'll connect these stories to our current politics and the constant, everyday resistance we all face. Because culture shapes who we are, and democracy is the freedom to be that person. Culture first, democracy always. What's up, everybody, and welcome, or welcome back to Culture First, Democracy Always. Today, we are reaching the end of our Fractured Future Arc's public journey. Over the last 4 weeks, we've analyzed the internal witch hunt, the power of political myth-making, and the horror of systemic neglect. Of course, it's been a heavy ride. It showed us all the ways that democracy can be fractured. Today, we're ending with the most essential message of all: hope. We're diving into the Doctor Who episode Turn Left. Now, this is a brilliant story that emphasizes the fragility of freedom and how your single personal choice, even the smallest one, has a massive world-altering impact. We're talking about why your individual existence matters. It matters to the fate of the entire world, and why little grassroots activism is the only guarantee of our freedom. Now, we're going to get there, but we can't get there without a roadmap, so here's the plan for today. First, we're going to dive into the terrifying alternate reality of Turn Left and show how the absence of one person can lead to the collapse of an entire democratic world. Next, we'll connect this fictional absence to the real-world importance of individual participation, showing how political apathy creates a void that tyranny rushes to fill. Then we're going to look at the cultural and political front lines, the fights against voter suppression, book bans, mistreatment of immigrants and others, all of those things that prove every personal and collective action matters. Finally, we'll talk about the historical duty of the ripple effect, why your existence is the most powerful act of resistance. You get it? You got it? Good. Let's jump into it. Part 1. The Terror of Absence. Let's set the scene for Turn Left. Donna Noble, a seemingly ordinary woman, makes a simple, small choice. She turns left instead of right. Now, that one choice prevents her from ever meeting the Doctor. And the absence of the Doctor, the pivotal figure, creates a catastrophic ripple effect. So without him, key moments of history are missed, and the world begins to tear apart at the seams. It is falling apart. The United States is destroyed. The UK is turned into a terrifying police state that relies on forced labor and authoritarian control. Freedom doesn't just erode, it shatters. The entire episode is a massive kind of what-if scenario designed to teach us a terrifying political lesson. Freedom is fragile, and the world is always one person away from collapse. This episode grounds the political chaos we've discussed. It tells you that the structural problems, the systemic neglect, the paranoia, the myth-making, those things are only manageable because certain people, certain heroes even, keep showing up. If those critical individuals or movements don't step into the void, the system collapses immediately, and then you have a fractured future. We see this in history. Think about the civil rights movement. What if Rosa Parks hadn't kept her seat? What if Martin Luther King had stayed a preacher and never taken the fight public? Their absence would have meant decades more of unchecked Jim Crow terror. The ripple effect of their personal choices was world-altering. So, the structural systems of democracy are only as strong as the individuals who show up every single day to defend them. Your existence is not a given. It's a critical variable. Part 2. Apathy and the political void. Now let's dig into the terrifying consequence of absence. The void that, of course, tyranny is going to bum rush the show to fill. In the Doctor Who alternate reality, the world doesn't fail because a new dictator is born. It failed because the right person wasn't there at the right time. The system isn't challenged, the crucial warnings aren't delivered, and authoritarian policy becomes the default. This speaks directly to political apathy in our own democracy. When you choose to sit out a vote, when you choose to not speak up, when you choose not to share that piece of vital information, you're creating a small void. And nature abhors a vacuum. I found myself battling with that over the last couple of weeks, where I feel like the things that I am saying is not being heard. I've got a small listenership on this podcast. I've got a small viewership on my YouTube channel. And sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself. But then I think about the message of this episode. When you choose to not speak up, when you choose not to share that piece of vital information, you're creating a void. And even if one necessary person hears my message, I did not leave a void. So anywho, the authoritarian structure is always ready to step into the silence left by somebody biting their tongue or holding their message. And it uses those missed opportunities to pass restrictive legislation, to implement voter suppression tactics, or to cement its version of the sanitized history we talked about in the X-Files. Yeah, every time that we bite our tongue, we are making it possible for that authoritarian structure to implement its ideas, to implement its legislation, to suppress someone else's civil liberties. So this connects the idea of grassroots activism and protests and speaking out and pushing back against authoritarian overreach. It connects to all of that today. The cultural and political front lines, like the fights against voter suppression, making sure that people around you know, hey, they're banning books, or they are pushing forth some restrictive ideologies. All of these voids are essential voids that must be filled by us, ordinary people. This isn't just about heroes. It's about the person who takes the minutes at a city council meeting. It's the person who drives a neighbor to the polls. It's the person who simply refuses to be silent in a room full of noise. Their presence is the entire infrastructure of the resistance. That's me and you, y'all. So think about a time recently when you almost chose apathy. You almost chose to stay home or to stay quiet, to turn left, but you chose to show up instead. What was the small, immediate impact of your presence? I want to hear about how your choice created a positive ripple. Part 3. The power of the ripple. The central conceit of Turn Left is the ripple effect. Everything you do, no matter how small, how personal, creates a future. And if you choose resistance, you're strengthening the future. If you choose apathy, you are weakening, you are fracturing your future. Now, you see how all these arcs, it all comes back around to that phrase. Yeah, fractured futures. But resistance is the ultimate rebuttal to the feeling of powerlessness. You might feel like your vote don't matter. Your single phone call to your representative doesn't matter. But Doctor Who shows us that if enough individuals make that negative choice, if enough people turn left, the whole timeline collapses into disaster. Conversely, if enough individuals choose courage, accountability, participation, influence, the world is stabilized. Your single act is the necessary pivot point. We see this played out in the pushback against these restrictive ideologies I was talking about. The fight over, I keep going back to banned books. The fight over banned books isn't just about a few titles. It's about demanding that the educational system respects diverse viewpoints. So every parent, every student, every librarian who speaks up is stopping a structural collapse. Your voice is the missing piece to the democratic equation. Every time we hear a politician make an untrue statement and we deliver the pushback, we are making a choice to fill the void that is left if nobody said anything, if nobody pushed back against the lies that these people tell. Then there is nothing to weigh against. And that one person who was a diehard follower of them will never hear the message that might make them turn away. We are important, y'all. Now, the cultural lesson is that individual existence and choice matter to the fate of the entire world. Yeah, I sound like I'm being dramatic, but it's true. Your humanity, your complexity, and your decision to engage are the only things that prevent the bleak, conformist, fractured future. So don't ever confuse the size of your voice or the size of your audience with the magnitude of your impact. And yeah, I'm talking to me. So hopefully you're getting something from this, but I am talking to me. I should not confuse the size of my voice, the size of my audience, with the magnitude of my impact. Because my smallest choice can alter the entire timeline. Turn left is the closing argument for this entire arc. It tells us that the freedom we fought for in the past 4 episodes, the due process, the social trust, the right to dissent, those things are so fragile, they can vanish when one person fails to show up. We cannot afford to be absent. I cannot afford to be absent. Our action today is simple. We must commit to being present, commit to being here, commit to filling the void. And that means finding your place, whether it's running a local food drive, speaking at a meeting, or actively supporting a local business that's being targeted for its inclusive practices. Your commitment to showing up, my commitment to showing up, is the only guarantee that the dystopian future we've studied over these last 4 episodes won't come true. Now, thank you for joining me on the public journey through the Fractured Future arc. And as a reminder, the arc is now complete for public listeners. We are going to be entering another planned pause to prepare for the next major series, and I'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new arc of episodes. But for our members, the Fractured Future is not quite over. You will have access to the exclusive bonus episode next week, diving into Black Mirror Nosedive. Now, that is all about the soft authoritarianism of social scoring and tech conformity. So if you want to keep the analysis going for 1 more week during our planned pause, find the link to join the community in the show notes. Connect with me on Blue Sky, on Threads, and Instagram at Culture First Always, so we can keep building this community together. Because per usual, culture first, democracy always. I hope this episode gave you a new way to look at the stories around you. It's so easy to feel alone in this work, but remember, there's a whole community of grown folks out here connecting the dots. If you're not already subscribed, my newsletter drops every Thursday and provides a deeper look at these themes. It's like an email from a friend who's just a little obsessed with connecting culture and politics. You can find the link in the show notes. And also, let's connect on social media too. I'm on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram, and I just love continuing these conversations with you all throughout the week. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for the next episode. And I'm Tasha Pierce. Culture first, democracy always.